Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to Victoria.
All right, let's go to Victoria. And there's a lot of big news coming out about Iran. Just in the last few hours, President Trump said that if there's any strikes on any ships in the Strait of Hormuz, he will go after a power plant or a bridge. And then the Iran foreign minister said, then we will respond. So it's getting very heated over in Iran. Victoria, former deputy national security advisor for President Trump, Victoria Coates. Where is this all going? It seems like it's ratcheting up in the last few hours.
Oh, it is. Hi, gang. It's good to be with everybody. I think, the president's sending a very clear signal that we are going to have safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz going forward. And so what he said is he's going to start striking some infrastructure around Tehran. And that's very specific because a lot of Iran is quite rural and folks are maybe not used to all of the services you would expect. But in the capital city, people expect electricity, they expect water, they expect services. That is all being chipped away at. And so I think you're going to see that put some more very difficult pressure on the regime in Tehran to try to maintain what's left of their base. And, the other thing we saw today was Saudi Arabia signing this very significant nuclear deal with the United States. Every country in the region that's not named Iran is drawing closer to the United States.
Yeah, that was Saudi, a biggie. That was a biggie.
It's Saudi, it's Qatar, it's Lebanon, it's Iraq, it's all of them, Rita.
And Victoria, we have with us also in studio the great Congressman Mike Rogers, of course, head of Intel Committee when he was there in the House, former FBI agent, Congressman.
Well, hey, Victoria, thanks for the update. I will say as well, I think if we can get Iran solved, the greatest peace accomplishment probably in since World War II, in the sense that you will have people more inclined to sign up to the Abraham Accords. And I keep telling people who are clamoring, don't send money to Israel, don't send money to Israel. If you want to stop sending money to Israel, get Iran back to being a peaceful neighbor that isn't a danger and a threat to its neighbors. Then you can probably stop sending money to Israel because they're trying to defend themselves. And they are responsible for all of the terrorism and chaos that you see across the Middle East through the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas.
Oh, no, Mike. I mean, and we are all cheering you on. We're hoping for the best for you and your campaign, but this is critically important. And in terms of the money for Israel, I mean, we have a slightly different position at Heritage that we came out with last year, which is we think we should do what Prime Minister Netanyahu did in the 1990s with the economic assistance to Israel, which is phase it out over time. And we came up with a proposal that had benchmarks for the Israeli economy that if they met certain growth levels, we would start transferring about $250 million a year out of foreign military financing to foreign military sales. And then for us, that money would go into joint programs, and that this would remove an irritant and increase our joint programming. And it is now, I'm proud to say, the established public position of the Prime Minister's office. So I agree with you. I think this is something that we can work on and then point to the investment that the American taxpayer has made over really the last 30 years since the Reagan era, how much it has paid off for us, how jointly interoperable our forces are. That's one of the great lessons of Operation Epic Fury. And this is something we need to nurture and grow, not turn into a political football the way the Democrats are trying to do.
Couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more. And that conclusion of Iran in the right way, think of what it's going to do to prices, fantastic. And now you have a new economic engine in the Middle East. Oh, and by the way, you can phase down that funding probably a lot quicker.
Oh, absolutely. And the curious thing is if you had told me a year ago, even, maybe even less, that I would be talking about Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria as not screaming disasters tonight, I wouldn't have believed you. But, we've had visits from both President Aoun of Lebanon and Prime Minister al-Zaidi last week from Iraq, both of which are trying to draw closer to the United States, are trying to reject Iran. That's even more impressive in my mind, disrupting their so-called Shia crescent across the Middle East to the Mediterranean. That's all going away. And people are voting with their money. The Iraqi prime minister signed $60 billion worth of deals with Chevron and Exxon. That's pretty hard to unwind. And, that's not an ideological thing. That is a practical nuts and bolts economic decision of where he wants his country to go.
Well, Victoria, thank you so much. It's so great to have you here and have your perspective, and how awesome to also be able to have some questions from Congressman Mike Rogers. Victoria, thank you very much.
Excellent. Have a great night, guys.